Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm Will Richards.
I'm Sarah Tupper.
And we're here today at Spread for another Chelmsford For You podcast.
Yes, we're going to be chatting to Gareth all things art, creative. It's going to be great.
Let's get into it.
The Chelmsford For You podcast with Will and Sarah, an exclusive look into all things Chelmsford.
We're here on New London Road in Chelmsford with Gareth. How are you?
Good.
Good stuff.
Thank you.
At Spread Creative, aka Spread, a beautiful gallery, which is absolutely stunning. You've kind of dressed it up yourself. We'll go through the details of that later on. But for those that might not know just yet, who are you and what do you do?
Well, I'm Gareth, as you said, and Spread is a brand design agency, a working creative studio, and we create brand identities for corporates and for small businesses and for charities, and we really help them figure out what it is they want to say and how they can say it in a way that they never thought they would be able to.
Right.
And then more recently, as we've kind of developed and grown and got more involved with arts and the artists, being an artist myself, so many people walk past this place and they look in the window because I've put loads of my own, kind of collection of art on the walls. Yeah. And they peer in through the window. Sometimes we catch them taking photos through it, and then they see us and they're like, oh, because we're actually working in here.
Caught in the act.
And then people knock on the door and they say to us, what is it you do in here? And I guess coming out of the pandemic particularly, we felt that as more and more people were becoming curious about us, that what would it be like if we blurred that line even further, opened the door and actually invited people in. Right. So that the barrier between us and the street got removed. And with my relationships with a number of artists who I know, a lot of emerging artists coming out, we said, what would it be like to curate a gallery and add that to what we have and to be interrupted by people coming in to talk about art.
Well, that's what you want, really, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So it's a working design studio with a very commercial kind of aim. At the same time, developing, growing, early stages of developing a gallery.
Okay, and it's obviously all the different artwork. Some of this is things you own, some of this you've created?
No, this is a very specific show, which is based all around the use of the nude in contemporary art. Right. And in the art world, it's kind of a contentious issue over the last decade or more. Issues relating to figurative work have been a real no-no in the wake of behaviours like artists like Picasso and Lucian Freud and misogyny and the treatment of muses and and the way that bodies have been kind of fetishized or looking at people as commodities and the way that particularly middle-class, middle-aged white men have portrayed women largely in their work. And so, but more recently there's been this kind of emergence of younger artists, emerging artists coming through who are going back into that classic form that's been around for centuries and re-exploring it. And so I wanted to invite those people in and give them a voice. And in a way, my role in this show is to do what I need to do, which is to sit down and shut up.
Right, okay.
Because people have heard my kind of voice for too long.
Right.
So the 10 artists being displayed here from a really diverse range of people and experiences, the only thing I really curated was the list of artists who I think are astonishing. In terms of the works that are here, I just said to them, how do you want to express yourself? What is it you're exploring when exploring the nude in contemporary art? And let you speak.
I absolutely love that, and we've obviously had a conversation, particularly around this exhibition as well, and the links to, as you say, emerging artists and conversations that are happening now that haven't happened for so long because of this dominant voice that we've heard over all these years. And I think it's a really nice way to express a change in that, and yeah, it comes out of your passion for art as well, which we've got to know you very well through the last 2 years of Concrete Canvas. I know you've got this exhibition on at the moment, but prior to that, your own personal collection of art is quite impressive here with lots of different types of pieces. We have one particular piece here, Zoe.
My friend Zoe.
Yeah, which is just, it's like a real treasure chest.
Well, there are little bits of curio here that I mean, let's not get away from it. What I've really created here is a man cave, right?
Yeah,
It's true, yeah.
So, you know, as a creative and the work we do, and it's not, you know, when we figure out what we want to say for a client, which for me is the real magic. That's what a creative agency does best. And I think that's becoming harder and harder for clients to find, is an agency that, instead of someone saying, well, we need a new logo, and we just jump straight and say, well, what's your favourite colour?
Yeah.
You know, we're like, hang on a minute. Before we get to logo, let's start thinking about your whole brand, the whole purpose of your business, why you're here, what gets you out of bed in the morning, what motivates you. And so we spend a lot of time at the front end thinking about, what do we want to say? Long time before getting to how we're going to say it. So figuring out what to say and then how to say it. And so all the downstream products for us, like, you know, kind of logo design, font packs, colours, patterns, graphic design, filmmaking, documentaries, adverts, you know, all, websites, digital, socials, all that stuff is all downstream products. And they all come as a natural progression from that first grasping of that extraordinary idea, which always starts with the words. If we can figure out an extraordinary, compelling set of words that describes a business or what their values are or what separates them out, their positioning, then all the rest kind of tumbles forward. Yeah. So people often say, you know, oh, you're a photographer or you're a filmmaker or you're a designer or whatever. And so, yes, we are all those things. But the thing that we do that separates us out is we say, let's leave all that to later. Let's really go right upstream and let's figure out that one magical, stunning piece of communication. Yeah. And then all the rest becomes easy.
So that's the key to it. So the initial conversation, the words, like you say. So if there is a company out there watching this, somebody thinking of having an entire rebrand, anything like that, how should they start? Is it just a case of popping in to see you, giving you a call or an email? Do they get in touch?
Yep, they can find us, obviously, you know, online at spreadcreative.com or, you know, all the socials, Spread Creative. Come and see us. I mean, you know, as a gallery, because we're a working studio and gallery, it means that there are times when we're out on, you know, client calls or appointments or film, you know, making a film in a couple of weeks for a client. And what we've said is that if we're in, we're open. So, you know, but you can also make an appointment. You know, if there's a specific time frame you have, then obviously give us a call and we can, you know, book you in. But if we're in, we're open, and come in and see us. And it always starts for us with, well, we never solve problems before. We don't start thinking until we get paid, right? So we're happy to have those opening meetings. But most of our clients choose us. The deity of choice for choosing us is typically not price. Right. So it's a really funny thing. You know, clients say to us, well, how much is it going to cost? And say, well, we don't have a price list. We actually ask the client to price the work. Right. So
that's a dangerous game to play.
Well, you can always say no. But I think it's not like a price list. And that's the point. You know, it's not about the downstream commodities of like how much for a website. Because for us, we're far more emotionally involved with the client than that. You know, we're here to be a partner in the success of their business. So we've recently done a big rebrand for a company here in Chelmsford, a large £25 million turnover company, a root and branch rebrand. And the conversation started, if we get this right, what kind of value is that going to add to your company? And they felt that would probably be around about £1 million worth of value. Wow. So we said, well, what's an appropriate amount of money to spend? Yeah. What's a suitable investment for us to get you there? And so we agreed a fee that was fair. It was good for them, good for us. And then we start thinking. Then we start working, and it starts with discovery sessions. So we'd spend a lot of time gathering key staff, key customers, key stakeholders together to talk to them about the business. And so we don't start, we don't pitch. We don't pitch our work at any time. The only pitch we have is our reputation and the clients that have gone before, and we're happy to have them, new clients speak to old clients, and so our reputation, speaks for itself. So, we don't get into sort of pitching battles with other agencies. If you want to work with us, we come and have a chat, and then we figure out a price together, and then we get on with it, because that's what we're really keen to do.
Yeah, and as you say, you become a part of the team then, don't you? You've got that emotional investment as well, and in the success of the future of that company. I love all of that.
We have a sort of a pseudo secret kind of list, which is our hell yes checklist, which we don't tell clients this, so keep it to yourselves. Right. It's really known as a hell no checklist. Yeah. So because we invest ourselves so much, once we work with a client, they get all of us, and it's not unusual for tears to be shed as we kind of hit on the right idea, or we kind of reveal the work that we've been doing for that client, and that for us is what really stirs us. We want to be moved. Yeah. I want to be moved, not just by the art that we see in the place we go, but by the work that we do. And so if a client doesn't, part of the hell yes checklist is if a client doesn't understand that or doesn't value that, then they're probably not the right client for us. Right. But if they are that invested in their business that it's emotional and it's big for them, and they want someone to really get on board and wrestle with them to help them take the business to where they want to take it, to be a partner in the success of their business, not just here's a brochure, that's whatever price. Yeah. Then we're the right kind of supplier for that. And then we develop relationships that last years, of course. Of course.
So, I mean, when it comes to it, the basis really is price. It isn't what it's all about. It's a case of talking about what you want to achieve and then finding out the correct answer to how do you value that, because like you say, you've worked at a company locally and it's going to bring them a great amount of revenue in. Yeah. So if you were looking at it on that scale, then, it's worth a hell of a lot of money. Is it something that's been done now, this particular brand you're talking about?
Yes, the primary company has been done. They've now got a secondary company that we're rebranding alongside that, which is exciting, and they've got plans for growth and expansion going forward.
It's nice. Brilliant. Nice to see something you've done in Chelmsford as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've done we did St John Payne School as well, yeah. So that was fun, and that was one of those occasions where. They showed us a film. I mean, we rebranded. We'd done a whole new logo set and a whole new kind of branding, kind of right across the board. All the kind of uniform logos changed and everything else. So that was exciting. It's so nice to walk around Chelmsford and see students wearing something that I've designed here. But they asked us if we would make a film for the school, and they showed us a film that another school had done and said, "Could you make us one of these?" And I was like, "No, no, we'll not make that film, but we'll make this film." Yeah. And they were like, "Really? We can do that?" I said, "Yeah, we can do that." So we spent a few days filming with them. Amazing with the students and staff there. And then when we showed them the film, we had the headmaster and the business manager, and they both sat here and just wept. Oh. And I was like, "That's they were saying, what you've done is amazing." I said, "No, we're just holding up a mirror to what you're doing. You've just lost sight of it in the midst of all of the the stuff you have to do on
it's
a daily
a business
basis.
It's education, it's difficult,
It shows the true value then as well, doesn't it? As you say, it's not a financial thing, it's the value in what you're giving.
Yeah, and it was like they walked out of here taller than how they walked in. Yeah. And all we did was reflect back to them. All we did was to see with a fresh set of eyes the value and the quality of the work that they bring, and then reveal that and bring it out, and you could see the difference it made, and it's been great for them. I mean, the school's gone from strength to strength, which is great. So really proud.
That's a great example, specifically St John Payne, but any school really, that it's all about the impact these sort of things have on a child's growth within school. The emblem that you wear on your chest, if you never think about it, like everyone remembers their school tie. Everyone remembers their form colours, the teachers. That's another huge element to it. So if somebody says, "Oh, you go to that school," oh, that's cool. I know it's just a little thing, but they're the little emotive things that really push all that emotional
charge. It builds pride as well, doesn't it?
Exactly, yeah. So your job's done when they walk out the room.
Yeah, exactly.
It's nice to see them cry.
And I think, in terms of, because for them this is personal. Yeah. It's not just business, it's personal. And I think that's how I feel about this business. And that's the perfect kind of client for us, is if it's personal for them.
Yeah.
So how long has Spread been around?
Well, we celebrated our kind of incorporation as a limited company just the other day, which was 6 years. Wow. But You know, it's kind of it grew out of my freelancing as a creative, which just got bigger and bigger. And then a couple of extra clients came on board, and then someone came and sort of shadowed me for a bit, and then eventually got added to the team, and so we started to grow from that. So it's really come out of that. It's kind of grown organically, and actually I like that. I mean, I'm not particularly motivated by financial success. What really motivates me is working with great people, having a great team, you know, sharing this experience with, you know, we don't outsource work, we outshare it, if that makes sense. So it's not going out for the cheapest price. We find great people and then figure out how we can work with them and you know, kind of, and that brings a huge amount of satisfaction. You know, it's a daily joy. You know, we've got such a diverse range of clients as well. I mean, we were asked by St John Payne, you know, the question like, have you got any experience of doing design work for schools? And we say, no. And actually, that's why they choose us. Yeah. The other big company I was talking about, you know, again, they said, do you have any experience in our industry? And we said, no. And they said, good. Because all of those, you know, all the other competitors all look the same. Yeah. And so this idea of being, you know, that our perfect kind of client is someone who wants to be a disruptor. Someone who's got that sense of, you know, mischief, or you know, bringing it back to the art thing. I was, as part of my kind of journey of wrestling with this whole thing about the, you know, the nude, you know, because I do a lot of figure drawing. I go to the Royal Drawing School regularly, and I'm in the life room a lot drawing. And an artist friend, sort of tongue in cheek but half serious, said, "Oh, you're just another white guy drawing female nudes." It's like, okay, that's interesting. So that really kind of got me exploring that. And then I've done some modelling recently for the first time, sat nude myself for a young female artist. So I thought it was interesting, you know, breaking news, you know, young female artist paints middle-aged white guy.
Role reversal, basically.
Yeah, and one of the things that she was saying is that as an emerging artist, painting the nude is almost an act of rebellion. Okay. And I was like, rebellion? I'm on board with that. And that's, you know, so that sense of rebellion or disruption or mischief, or, you know, an agent provocateur, you know, that kind of idea, if we can bring that to bear, because one of the things we love to do for clients is to present them in such a way that gets all of their competitors sort of kind of...
Why didn't we think of that?
Or coming from, you know, I mean, taking a totally different bit of positioning, communicating with an audience, their audience, in a way that no one else has done, that just helps them stand out, which is just the most exciting thing. And of course, then the film we made for St John Payne, you know, it's absolutely stunning, and people are like, wow, that, you know, we didn't think we could do that, and it just takes them to another level.
Is that public?
Yeah.
Where can people watch that?
Whether it's still up there or not, I don't know. It's on the St John Payne website.
Okay.
Definitely worth having a look if it's still there. It sounds like it's a very emotional roller coaster, but worth watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely sounds it. So the exhibition is called Nothing On.
Yep, we've got Nothing On this summer.
Yeah, Nothing On all summer.
See what you did there. Took me a second, but I'm there now.
Finally caught up. So it's here in the gallery for another 2 months.
Yeah, so July is kind of, we've got some events coming up in July. So this coming Wednesday, we've got a lecture from an art historian talking about the relationship between an audience and artworks, and what happens when that relationship becomes interesting, you know, so people marrying artworks, or people falling in love with statues and things like that. So kind of the boundaries, you know, with, you know, art and people, which is interesting. And then the following Wednesday, we've got life drawing here. Okay. So these are all on Eventbrite. So we'll have an amazing male life model coming for that. And there's limited number of seats and a glass of wine and all that kind of stuff, so that'll be kind of fun. And then the final Wednesday, we've got an amazing life model coming in who's a contortionist who used to be working the circus, and actually she's got some work up in the gallery at the moment.
I think I
so
know
to
the
put
one
her
you mean,
in the midst of this and to be able to do some really ambitious kind of life drawing. So that'd be fun. So those kind of events throughout July, but then we, you know, as we head into summer and people go off, we just kind of be relaxed and open. Yeah. So anytime over the next couple of months, if people want to drop by, if you're coming from any distance, then I would say give us a call, make sure that we're going to be here, and book a time, and we'll put it in the diary. Yeah. But if you're in Chelmsford and you've got a bit of time and you're walking past and we're open, come on in and see us. We're always happy to talk art or
Or anything we've discussed.
Or anything
Yeah.
to do, anything
Fantastic.
creative. Yeah.
I sense that there's going to be someone watching, maybe a few people watching, that have that burning desire to create mischief and revolt and change something and restructure. They want to get in touch with you. Obviously, they know how to get in touch now. We've spoken about how to get in touch with you, but what would you say to them to take the first step? What's the best thing to do? Is it to come to you with a bunch of ideas and this is what I really like, or is there a way to break it down?
We've had this discussion.
I got here late, obviously.
No, I love this.
It's a bit provocative in itself, in that, you know, do I say this out loud?
I think you should. I really like
we
it.
we love, as a creative agency, the thing that we really love is clients should have problems, not ideas.
Okay.
So because we're the creative agency, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, come to us with problems that you need to overcome, and we will come up with the ideas. When a client comes in with a bunch of ideas, it restricts what we're able to do.
They've got an idea of direction already, which might not be the right one.
Yeah, and oftentimes it's not uncommon for a client to come in and say, well, we've already had logos developed, but we're not really sure, or we've already invested a large sum of money in doing something, and we come up with something different. And I say to people, look, it's better to be on the bottom rung of a ladder you want to climb than halfway up one you don't. Yeah. So what I would say to any new client coming in is come in with a completely open mind. You know, we don't bring any ideas to the table until we've listened. You know, so it's not that we have a house style or a way that we're going to work. The first thing we do is to listen.
It's all very bespoke.
To discover, yeah. And then, because we're after the extraordinary, you know, nice is the enemy of spectacular, right?
Yeah.
And if we do a nice piece of work, it goes in the bin. So we're looking for that extraordinary moment. And oftentimes it means putting aside what's gone before. And that can be quite humbling, you know, and that takes real courage oftentimes from clients.
I was going to say, it's a scary thought to do that sometimes, isn't it? And you need the relationship and the trust in an agency that, yeah.
But then we're able to mock things up and show people what that might look like. And we say to clients, you know, they'll say, can we do this? And we say, we could do this, but what if we did this? And they're like, really? Say, yeah, we can do that. And then we'll mock it up and we can show them, and they're like, wow, that's amazing. And then suddenly they're off. Because we create, I mean, that's the whole point of coming to a creative agency, is for them to create something, right? It's not just that we know how to use the software so we can turn your ideas into a reality. We're here to shatter your ideas and show you something way beyond that, that will help you catapult yourself and walk out of here. We've got a friend who talks about walk like you're a 10. You know, so walk out of here with your head held high, you know, bigger than you thought you could. And oftentimes we try to create a brand that's way bigger than the company or the charity is. So they've got an identity and a brand that they can grow into. So they're set for years to come. Yeah. You know, that we had a client a little while back talk to us. We created they're a peacekeeping organisation led by a 3-time Nobel Peace Prize nominee. Wow. I mean, serious kind of stuff. Yeah. And the brand we created for them and the website and the resources we created for them, they came back to us and said, we have to reevaluate how we work now, because we've really got to step it up to match what you've created for us.
Wow.
There's a lot of thought to take on there. So if
I
do like it, and I do understand it. There's logic exactly to what you're saying. So I think anyone that's thinking of something like this, don't think too much more into it. Yeah. Get in touch with this team at Spread, and that's the next few steps to take, I think. Is there anything more you'd like to add to anybody watching?
No, I think that's pretty much it, isn't it?
Just come and make sure you see the exhibition, the fabulous art, and come down to the gallery and meet the team.
That's it. Thanks very much. I've been Will Richards.
I've been Sarah Tupper.
I've been Gareth Barton.
We'll see you soon on the next one.
The Chelmsford For You podcast with Will and Sarah. Get involved, like, comment and share.